The PlayStation Drive is starting. While you wait, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon on YouTube to be notified of future goodness. If you enjoy our show, we'd love it if you gave us a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. To continue the conversation, join the Carpool Gaming Discord, where you can find a wholesome community to have a chit-chat with. For some exclusive content, you can also support us on Patreon. And finally, don't forget to check out the Carpool Gaming website for an awesome range of merch. Links to all that and more are in the show notes, but without further ado, let's get revved up for the PlayStation Drive. Whoa!
What's up, everybody? Welcome on in. This is the PlayStation Drive episode 185. I am one of your hosts, Ryan. I'm joined, as always, by Fulia, Matt, and Ron. How are y'all doing on this lovely Chunday evening or Chunday morning, whichever you prefer?
I went back.
Sunday night is going well.
I'm glad that Super Bowl Chunday is going well for you, Ron. You know, it's a grand day for us all. Let me tell you what.
Monday
I don't think we even have 9 viewers at this point with the Super Bowl happening right now.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. So what we're saying is we're all excited to see Taylor Swift win the Super Bowl again, because I am. Let me tell you what.
Yay, team. Go, team.
See?
Sports
Fulia's
ball.
on board. Fulia's on board.
Go sports.
Yeah.
Go sports.
Sports ball. I love how
Well,
Ron
if you looked at
shaking
the
his head.
score, there's a good possibility that might not be happening, which
Yeah.
is a great thing.
I love how Ron is really the only one here who actually cares
I
about
have
football.
no idea what's
So-
happening.
I'm the only American here. It makes sense. I'm not surprised.
Are you trying to stereotype us that because we're not American that we don't like football?
I'm
Ron?
just
Is that
saying.
what you're
Look, the
telling me?
proof is in the pudding. No one cares about football but me, so
Yeah.
it speaks for itself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I'm just going to add to the stereotype further because when June rolls around, I'll be telling you all about the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you'll just be like, "What is going on here?"
Not really. I pay attention to hockey.
Let's go.
Yeah, I pay
Now I
attention.
She pays
understand.
attention to hockey. She likes
Oh,
it.
okay. Because for a second there, I was going to be like, "Oh, I can definitely now understand why Ron can only deal with me once a week." You know, that's we found out the reason why. I talk about hockey.
The hockey has nothing to do with it.
I know.
Oh, damn.
Anyways, this is the PlayStation Drive where we talk about PlayStation all the time, except for when we're talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Bowser.
Which, by the way, before I get into my whole rigmarole, I can't believe there weren't really any game commercials during the Super Bowl, or at least there haven't happened any yet. So,
They're usually video game
halftime's
commercials
coming
during
up, so
football?
I mean,
yeah,
it might happen during
Oh,
halftime.
halftime hasn't even happened yet?
Halftime's going on now.
yeah. I was gonna say because I've seen some of them starting to crop up on YouTube, like the Jurassic Park one and the new Marvel trailer. But
Yep.
so I was a little surprised. So no gaming trailers yet, but we'll see. Maybe a little Nintendo Switch 2 trailer will come up or something like that. But
The Super Bowl? That's
Yeah,
not their
that-
audience, Brian. That's
I don't know if
not their
Nintendo.
audience.
I don't know if Nintendo will want to waste the money
No.
on that because that's going to be a lot of money
Yeah.
to get that on there.
Hey, who knows? You might be able
Yeah.
to get your Madden on the Switch too.
oh, so
What?
maybe this is finally the time for Dead or Alive Extreme, the new game that's coming out in March, the Dead or Alive dating sim that's coming out in March. This is their time. Their audience right here, the football audience is there.
Oh, boy.
Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah. But this whole time I've been talking about Dead or Alive dating games. That my door's been knocking. Someone's been there going like, housekeeping. So we should probably answer the door and
Yeah.
let them in. Because, of course, over at patreon.com/carpool gaming, we've got a bunch of new content going on over there. Of course, Seth's Pants episode is out right now. You can go listen to it. It came out this morning. And then, Matt, you're up next. So if people have questions for Matt, Monday is your chance to answer them. Head on over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Ask Matt some questions. Ask him a bunch of Nier questions, Stellar Blade questions, Xenobabe questions, or 1,000-time resist questions, or whatever questions you got for him.
Go nuts, friends. Go nuts.
It could be anything. It could be anything over on that Pants show. Of course, also over the old Patreon, Fulia, we have early access of a certain show that, again, I could introduce, but I feel it's more fitting that you, of course, tell the friends about.
Yes, the mini indie van is now available in early access on the Patreon, and it's me and Ron, Bear.
That's me.
Bear and Koala Show for episode 1. Please go check it out. We talk about our favorite indie games of 2024. And yeah, it was a good time. Had a lot of fun. It's a nice, short little journey, so you'll be able to enjoy that.
Yeah, just driving around a little van like this.
Yeah,
Just
minivan,
driving around.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's mini, of course. So it's gonna be a little smaller. So of course, the thing is about this show in particular, Fulia, is that currently we have the show in early access, is what we refer to. Because game manufacturers do this all the time. So why can't we do this at Carpool Gaming? Of course, put a podcast in early access. So as a result, currently it's only available on Patreon. Eventually down the road, it's going to get its own podcast feed with merch and the other accoutrements that the other shows get.
Yeah.
But we, for the first couple of months, we're gonna do this early access thing. So we would love y'all's feedback about it. Even if you don't, if you're not a patron right now, we have a 7-day free trial. You can go try out at the exclusive tier, which gets us all the exclusive podcasts, including the mini indie van. And we would love your feedback. So please head on over there to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Check out the mini indie van. Give us all that feedback. Give us all
Already
the
been receiving some really, really positive feedback, and I'm really, excited for more of it. So please just keep them coming.
That's good. And I feel a little bit of a kindred spirit with that show, Fulia, because that show very similar layout to RPG Cave. So I feel like we're coming from you're cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways. So I'm glad because I know for us, with RPG Cave, getting the feedback from the community was so helpful to us to help shape that show and to kind of keep that show going. And I know that's probably going to kind of do the same for y'all over there for many of
exactly.
So
yeah,
keep it coming, folks. Please let us know what you think about that show. We would love to hear from you. Also, we have our website, carpoolgaming.com, where you can get yourself some merch if you want a PlayStation Drive t-shirt, RPG Cave t-shirt, Xbox Drive t-shirt, Nintendo Drive t-shirt, or just any other Carpool Gaming merch that's over there as well. Well, without further ado, folks, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist. It's time to talk about the games we played this week. So, Ron, start us off, man. It's not just Baldur's Gate 3 here. So tell me what you played, man.
Well, I said I was going to stop talking about Helldivers 2, even though I wasn't going to stop playing it. I said
I see it right here on the list.
I know. I'm talking about what I said 2 shows ago. So, Helldivers 2 is still great. We had to try out the new stuff just to see what's been patched, what's been nerfed, or anything like that. The game is great. There's just an addicting loop to it. Something just keeps bringing you back to the game. Even when we get to the highest difficulty, we've played every single faction, I don't know how many times now. It's just a game that just does not stop being fun. Case in point, we're taking on the bugs. There's an explosion. My body goes flying halfway across the map. I don't get any damage because of my armor, thank God. But the fact that it was so funny for us to catch on clip and we rolled about it, it's just one of those things where it just brings laughter, frustration, and just the thrill of killing things. It's just great. It's just great. That game is just, it just keeps on giving. Never stops. And then there is Baldur's Gate 3, which continues to be an outstanding game. This is going to definitely be the one to beat for Game of the Year for me.
Wow.
I don't know how much time I got left in this game, but I can tell right now when I do finish it, it's going to be much like how I felt the very first time I beat Mass Effect. What do I do now? Because that game has just kind of just really roped me in. I cannot stop. Just even when I'm at work, I am looking forward to getting back to playing it because I want to see how things are going to go. Character quests have been really fantastic, especially Asterion. Asterion is a fantastic character. He is great. And I finished up his character quest last night. So good. The writing is so great. Larian really outdid themselves with this. So I'm waiting to see how things wrap up. But at the same time, I'm kind of sad that I'm getting toward the end. This has just been an outstanding game.
So the question is what's next? Replaying Baldur's Gate 3 so you can go for the platinum?
That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Of course, Daybreak 2 is going to be next. But nice. I see you, Matt. What you got for me?
Hi there. Question from the press pool. Mm-hmm. Now, I have very limited knowledge of Baldur's Gate 3, but from my understanding, it's very choice dependent. Like you make a lot of crucial choices, and that kind of determines your story. Mm-hmm. So, given how much you love this game, are you not at least a little bit tempted to go back one more time to make some different choices that you kind of were like, I don't know what to do, and you kind of want to see how things would have turned out? Are you a little tempted to go back and do it all over again?
If it
just
was
one more
not
playthrough,
for the
just
fact,
one more.
If it was not for the fact that I had 121 other games to play, I probably would play this again. and choose some different.
You would,
things.
eh?
Just to see, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course, it's one of those games. Like, look, the only reason why I am not going to play this game again because this is a game that you got no choice but to pretty much put 100-something hours into it, and I can't devote that time to it like that. But it is worth it if I decided to do that. But I just can't. I just can't. As much as I would like to see some different things happen, because I've made some decisions and locked myself out of other things, and I've seen some scenarios happen where you're kind of like, damn, but it's one of those games where if you make a choice, it's going to make you know, like, hey, something went wrong because you chose this. And you just got to stand with it. Much like real life, you make a decision, it can mess up something else, and this game sticks to that. Yeah, this game sticks to that. So, yeah, it's just so good, man. It's a great game.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, really, realistically, if you really wanted to, see those other choices rather than having to replay, you could just save comment a little bit. But
I could. I could YouTube it too if I want to. But
because one of those things, Ron, where it's like you could also save a replay for this game for like a rainy day, like a year or two from now. Kind of like what I do with Mass Effect all the time, where it's just like, whenever I need like a good 15 to 20 hour game to just jump into and enjoy the story, like I'll do that with Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect is that's a game I've played multiple times. But yeah, man, Baldur's Gate is worthy. That's for sure. If I wanted to sit there and just kind of just take a break and just wanted to sit there and just play through it again just to see how things go, I would gladly play that with no hesitation.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Are there so many branching? I was gonna ask, like, can you actually realistically YouTube it, or are there so many branching paths that it would be hard to find your exact circumstance? And then, at this case, what would you do? Or is it more narrow? It's like, well, these are the big decisions. Like, so if you want to YouTube it, you can see it.
There are certain circumstances that for sure. Like,
okay,
there are certain decisions where you side with certain people, side with different groups and stuff that for sure that are like, I could go to YouTube and say, what if I side with whatever faction or whatever person, and I'm going to see other endings.
Yeah.
And there's some other things that are minor that you can always, because there's a million videos out there of people who have played multiple times like that. So I could find it. Finding the bigger storyline branches would be super simple. But I think that more than likely there would probably be several people who sit there and actually go through the smaller storylines and the things that could happen with those.
Interesting. Now then, Ron, I have a question for you before we move on.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned Trails Through Daybreak 2. Reviews came out for that this week.
Yeah.
Are you a little bit more worried about that game now that the reviews were kind of middling for it?
No, because I was actually expecting that. One of the YouTube guys that I watch, Cecily Carrozza, is a big Trails fan, and I guess before he even head west, there had already been some talk about Daybreak 2 not being the best of the series, being the worst of the series. But the thing is that even a worst of the series for a Trails game, that's still a good game and better than most RPGs. But I'll see what they say. I mean, like I said, I have my expectations in check for it. Ever since I had heard that, I already had my expectations in check. A few of my friends who've already played it have reached out and sit there and said, hey, just want to let you know, man, make sure you keep those expectations in check. So we had conversations about it. No spoilers, of course. But like I said, I'll be all right. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you're doing the right thing there, keeping those expectations in check for sure. Yeah.
Yes, man. Another one.
I have another question. All right, so since the reviews are out for this Falcom game, does that mean Kevin Ainsworth has already rolled credits? Surely he must have by now. I wouldn't be surprised. More than likely, by the time the first review came up, Kevin was probably already done. Yeah. I knew it. Mm-hmm. So you can ask him what he thinks. Okay, good, perfect. Just making sure.
We love you, Kevin, by the way. Matt, how about you? What did you play, man?
I only played 2 games. It's been very, very busy at work, and finally started watching Wicked Part 1. Finally got the Steelbook. Finally got the Blu-ray. My wife wouldn't watch it with me in the theater. It was very frustrating. You have no idea. We went to watch the musical. We both loved it. Bought the soundtrack, and I was like, "Hey, there's a movie adaptation. Let's go watch it." And she's like, "But I've already seen it." And I was like, "Well, yes and no. Like, this is the movie version." She's like, "But it's the same story." I'm like, "Yes, but it's going to be presented in a different format." She's like, "I'm not going to waste money on this." And I was like, "I'm not going to watch this by myself."
So then you paid more for the Steelbook than you would have if you went to go to the theater to go see it.
100%. And everyone talked about how fantastic it was. And I was sitting there in the rain, not watching Wicked in the theater with the way it's supposed to be watching. And just like, anyways,
So
I haven't finished watching it, but
Jeez.
Not the rain.
well, oh yeah, you know which meme I'm talking about.
One might
That's
say
how it felt like.
that situation right there is wicked.
Oh,
Right. Walked right into that one.
oh god.
You kind of
I did. But I'm not. Yeah, I haven't finished watching it, but so far it lives up to the hype that everybody says. It is phenomenal. I knew it was gonna. Spoiler alert: the movie's broken up into two parts, and it's like, well, obviously, because there's two acts to the musicals. I was like, it is a very good spot for it to stop and to actually do two movies. So it's fine. It's fine. It's not just a money grab. It makes sense. But yeah, I didn't get to play as much as I would like to. But I did wrap up the previous Backtrackers game. Oh, question before we move on to video games about Wicked. Yes, Ron. Yes,
Friend,
yes.
I just wanted to ask, how does it feel to get a steelbook that has a disc in it?
Oh my, Ron, you have no idea. It's like sunshine just parted the rain clouds away. Finally, opening a steelbook, not just one, but two discs. One for the Blu-ray, one for the 4K.
yeah.
Oh,
beautiful.
Okay. Oh,
It's beautiful.
Hey, that's
Movies are the-
excellent.
Movies are the one sanctuary for those who get steelbooks that actually want discs in the steelbooks.
That's right. That's right. Ron, honestly, I cannot possibly fathom like getting a beautiful steelbook and opening it, and there's nothing in it. Like you have no idea what that would do to me. I'd be like, "What is this?" Because the discs have artwork on it, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Well, it
it's artwork,
depends.
right? When you open, well,
It depends on what company, though. There's lots of movie manufacturers, especially Paramount. They don't do art on any of their discs.
Oh wow.
that's depressing. That is that.
Like
yeah,
I got my
that's
Friday,
depressing.
like my Friday the 13th Part 2 on 4K. I open it up and it's just a disc with black art, just solid black art with the words Friday the 13th Part 2 on it.
So just
Oh.
a silver disc and
Well,
black.
that-
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah.
That's a bit
Mm-hmm.
lazy.
Yeah.
It's a bit lazy.
Yeah. So then, Matt, I have to ask you then: are you also going to be like me, be very excited to buy the Nightmare on Elm Street 7 movie collection steelbook edition that's coming out later this year? Because I saw that go up this week, and I'm like, I'm very tempted to go buy it, even though it's $300.
This is on my shame list as a big horror guy. I've never ever seen any of those movies.
But now it's the perfect time to
I'm-
watch them. Then you get and you get
I'm
7
familiar
good
with
steelbooks.
I'm familiar, but
I
I've
too.
never.
Me too.
Did you watch them? You haven't
I'm
watched
not
any.
surprised about
Nope.
Koala not seeing it though.
I was gonna say you don't even like horror movies. You told us.
Maybe.
I
Well,
was
maybe
like,
you
hey, we should
shut
watch
up.
Leprechaun together, and you're like, no, thank you.
Leprechaun is super bad.
Yes, but for someone who doesn't like horror movies, Ron, you'd probably
It
be
is a
fine.
comedy. It is
Yeah.
a comedy though. I think you
Yeah.
actually will sit there and get a kick out
That's
of
what
it.
I mean. I
Yeah.
think she might actually like that movie.
I think she might enjoy that because it is that silly.
Why are we turning this on me? This is Matt we're talking about,
You
all right?
jumped
It's
in.
him.
It's your own fault.
Hey, you jumped in.
You can watch it too. You can watch
I'm
it.
good. I don't
But
need to watch it.
I've
It's
never
fine.
seen.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of those movies. I have not
I'm
seen it.
surprised
Like,
by
are
this.
they campy or are they like legit spoopy?
They get campier as they go on.
Yeah. The first, I said the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Spoopy?
Then, like
But
Ryan
I would
said.
say Dream Warriors is also not really that campy either, the third one. But then, like,
yeah.
when you go on to like
it gets-
the fourth
yeah,
and fifth one,
yeah.
then you get to Freddy's Dead, and you're just like, okay. But then New Nightmare kind of brings it back around again. Wes
That's
Craven's
one I
New Nightmare.
didn't watch that one. So I
That's the
haven't
one that
seen
takes place
yet.
in the real world.
Okay.
But Freddy invades the real world, and it's really good. But yes, because I only brought
Do
that
they-
up because steelbooks, movie steelbooks.
Do they hold up?
Yes.
If I watch it now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say I watched the first two. What was that last year?
At the very least, if you watch the first 3, I think you'd probably really like them.
Okay.
And then
All
you
right.
see where you go from there.
Well, yeah, I am very curious to see. Like, obviously, he's an icon. He's an icon in the horror genre. But yeah, just never came by. My dad never rented it, so if he didn't rent it, then it means I never watched it. That's
And
basically
worst
it.
case
Whatever.
scenario, Matt, if you
Yeah.
don't like them, you can look at the steelbooks on your shelf then and be like, hey, those are cool steelbooks.
I think he's going to have to do a
not bad.
PowerPoint to explain why he's buying the $300 collection.
It's $300.
The price I quoted is in
Whoa.
American dollars too.
I'm sorry. What? It's you know what happened to our Canadian dollar, Ryan? You're telling me it's $300 US?
Yeah.
I definitely kind of I need more than a PowerPoint. Dad. There's no way.
The
Yeah,
PowerPoint's
we'll just
not
have
going to
get
work.
some streaming.
4Ks are expensive, man, especially 4K Steelbooks.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. That's
Yeah, don't worry about it, Matt. You don't need it.
Like, I was lucky enough, Matt, to pre-order the 4K of Deep Blue Sea, which comes in like a collector's edition case, coming out in a
nice.
few months for well under what it's going for now, which is for $100 American dollars. Yeah,
$100 for one
American.
movie.
yeah, but it comes
one
in
movie.
like a hard,
Yeah, especially for Deep
case.
Blue Sea. Good lord.
Yeah, it comes in a hard case with like a book and all kinds of cool goodies.
Lord
It's a
mercy.
collector's
Okay.
set.
Okay. So it's not just a steel book. Like you get like a book. It's got like a nice display. Okay.
Yeah, you get this whole
getting better.
package. Yeah.
It's getting better, but
Yeah, I got it
that's-
for $50 Canadian as opposed to $100 American. I feel like I'm doing good. Okay, on there.
50 Canadian's good, but like some of these, like physical media for like special editions, like it's getting out of hand. Like
Yeah,
everybody knows how much I love Nier Automata. Anime come out. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me, but overall I liked it. And you know what? Being such a big fan, I wanted it. It's like 280 or something like that, like for season 1. Like for one, and it's like 12 episodes. Like, okay, I like it. And like Ryan says, like, it comes with like a book and like a display, but like, come on. Like, I got the entire series of Breaking Bad for like 120 with the barrel and everything. Like,
Matt, you
280
wanna-
for one season. Like, Ryan, you know what I'm talking about.
something
Like, this-
that'll blow your
Please.
mind, Matt. Is
please do.
I was so close to last year to buying the collector's edition for Life is Strange Double Exposure because I love Life is Strange. It comes with a
Yes,
vinyl and a
yes.
little book and stuff like that, and it doesn't even come with the game. It was going for $50.
I'm sorry, what?
It was going for $50, but again, for $50 you're getting the vinyl soundtrack and a bunch of other stuff. So when you add up that price, it actually kind of makes sense. People are selling it today on eBay, and these are sold listings for the game for over $500, and it's selling like
$500. No.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop.
That's
No,
why.
like-
That's the state of physical
Lord.
media right
Good
now.
Lord mercy.
No, listen. I'm a big fan of the Life is Strange series. I am, but 500 is. It's not
From
worth that
50
much, friends.
From
Like, I don't-
$50.
Sorry. And like, no, come on. Like,
Price
I
of
love
a
my
console.
physicals,
That's
but that's
craziness. No,
yes,
no.
Ron. Like, look at that.
That's
Like,
the price of a console.
stop it,
no,
please.
no.
I know when we get to
nothing's
questions,
worth that
we're going to
much.
talk about physical media probably a lot when we get to questions.
Where's Michael Jordan when you need him? Stop it. Get help.
Anyways, I'm glad we went on this like 8-minute tangent about movies and physical media.
What were we talking about before?
We should probably talk about what you were playing because that's what we were.
Oh,
doing.
okay, sorry, my
fault.
bad.
Oops.
It's okay. We got here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, right. Backtrackers finished Platinum Caravan Sandwich. That was the last Backtrackers game. I could give you the general synopsis. It's you start up in a space station, and you're looking for your sister, so you have to kind of hop back down to your home planet to look for her. And to get around, you hop into a van to drive around to look for clues to try to find her. And I'm gonna stop here with the synopsis, not because I necessarily want to stop myself from spoiling the story. I'm stopping here because I don't remember anything else from the story because I stopped caring. And that's not necessarily a
Wow.
testament
Cold as
to
ice. Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, hold on. Please, just come your farm, all right?
Could have
That's not what I
come
meant.
out and
Came
said
out
the
wrong.
game was terrible.
Yeah.
You
Matt
didn't
said it
have
was
to
cheeks.
ice it like
Matt
that.
said it was cheeks.
no.
You heard it here first.
No,
Yeah.
no. I liked the game. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Okay.
Did you?
Yes. Just the story didn't click for me, and I was in a bit of a time crunch because we only had 2 weeks, and I was like, well, I want to get the platinum too. So all of those kind of factors kind of made me like, I was like, well, I'm just gonna mash through the dialogue at this point because I really wasn't hooked. And there's no voice acting, so that didn't help me particularly. But again, I blame myself. Okay, it's on me for not getting hooked on the story. So, anyways, after that, I literally did just mash through the dialogue. So I truly don't know where the rest of the story goes. I have some ideas, but it doesn't really make sense. But what I can say about Caravan Sandwich is it is quite impressive what this small team has done for like an open world exploring game, because that's what it is. There's no combat. It's just driving around in your van and solving little puzzles. Like you have to get different power-ups. Like you have to collect certain parts, and then you can upgrade your van so that you can hack certain items, or you can pull the door down, or shoot like a zip line, and then you can zip across. And then that's basically it. So when I was looking this game up for the platinum, there was no guide, which made me a little bit nervous. But I was like, okay, let me see what some friends say. Let me see what people's experiences are. And most people just said, on Reddit and their own website said, it's easy platinum. You should be able to get most of it naturally. And then there's a few miscellaneous trophies. Like, okay, well, they say it's easy. I could do it without a guide. Let me try it. And I read the trophies. It seemed pretty feasible. Like, drive 500 miles, collect enough parts. Was it like do all side quests? Like, it's pretty straightforward. Collect everything. And for the most part, it was fine. Now, again, I want to preface this. I do like the game, but there's a lot of quality of life features this game is missing in a vast scale. Let's put it that way. So number one, there's no fast traveling. And you might say, well, Matt, the point of the game is to drive around in the van. And well,
That's
yes.
literally what I was about to tell you.
The point of the game is to drive around a van. I get that. I understand that. But what happens is when you start the game, like the map once you start exploring, the map opens up and you could go to different points to do a side quest. It's a little bit Metroidvania in the sense, like, if you drive all the way to like the northeast corner to like a side quest and you realize like, well, I don't have the power up yet. And it's like, well, do I have to drive all the way back down to the southwest to get back to the next one? The answer is yes. Now, is there fast travel? Today at a Backtracker session, Seth pointed out, like, well, technically there is fast travel. Yes, there technically is, but it sucks. Okay, because basically you got to hop into like a digital world, go to the right digital door, and then go into that digital door and hop out a different one. But the doors aren't labeled, so
this
I might as well just drive. See, you don't need to
feel
fast
like
travel.
Matt's just describing a fever dream to us right now. I don't think he.
This is the game,
This
friends.
doesn't sound appealing at all.
This is the game. All right, this is the game. And there's another big thing with quality of life is this car, this van, it can't drive over rocks. So you hit a little pebble and you're stuck. So you gotta back up and then drive around it. That's right.
Point of a caravan then.
I'm starting to feel like you really don't like this game, Matt.
No, I did. I promise. Okay, it was
That's
chill.
not the way it sounded. You're tearing it down.
No,
I love
I'm
it.
not-
Don't get me wrong. I like it when you get like this.
I liked it. All right, but just I'm giving feedback so that when there's a next game, let me drive over some rocks, let me do some fast traveling, just little things like that. So, anyways, like if you really get stuck in the van, like and you can't progress, the game does have like a built-in feature where it says, "Well, do you want me to teleport you back to the garage?" And I'm like, well, while this is helpful, it still feels like a slap in the face, because if I'm truly stuck in the van. And because it asks you, do you want me to transport you back to the garage? What if I pick no? I still can't move. Why are you asking me if I want to be transported? There's only one answer. Yes. Because if I say no, I can't progress the game.
Oh, man.
Why do you even ask me?
Yeah,
just move me.
This is coming up my
Just
wish
move it.
list. This is coming up my wish list.
No.
It's over.
Hold on.
It's over. Just yank it off the wheel.
No. Keep it on the wish list.
Matt.
Keep it on the wish list. All right. When the game hits, all right? Oh, actually, no, you might not like this, Ron, because I was going to say, when it hits, it reminds me of games like Death Stranding and Breath of the Wild, which you're not really a fan.
No, thank you.
So,
Multi-pass.
I'm not selling it to Ron. Yeah. So, if you like Death Stranding, you like games like Breath of the Wild and Totkey, Tears of the Kingdom, then this is the game where, like, it really gives you that cool flow of, like, exploring naturally. The game isn't really telling you what to do, where to go, but the environment tells you what to do and how to solve the puzzles next. When it clicks, and it feels very good. So overall, I did like it. The platinum, however, like I said, it wasn't hard, but I did get a little stressed out. Okay, because one trophy is do all the side quests, and the game has this built-in feature to tell you when the quests are done on paper. So as you're progressing the game and you're going to do a next main quest, the game prompts you. It'll say, you still have these side quests. Do you still want to keep going? And you'll be like, no, please, I need to do my side quests. Thank you for reminding me. HVAC sparking the chat. Yes, I liked it. Please believe me. I need that Ron picture right now. It's true.
That's my t-shirt. That's my t-shirt. Please believe me.
Please believe me. I need it right now. Please believe me. I liked it.
I'll show you the shirt. Please believe me. Oh god.
Oh boy.
So the game tells you when you're missing a side quest or not, which is phenomenal, right? When you want that trophy to, you want it, great. So I am not a, platinum trophy expert, but I've done enough platinums to have some sense of like, I should have popped this trophy by now. So I was nearing the end game, and I could tell just by, reading some of the guides and kind of like seeing how much of the map I've done. And I was like, I've done all the side quests. Where is my trophy? It has not popped. What is happening? And I've checked. It says I did all the side quests. I don't understand this. So before I progressed, I went back on the internet, opened up, 6 or 7 tabs. I wanted to see what people are saying. And then somebody pointed out. Hey, even though the game says you're done the side quests, you're not. And I'm like, excuse me? Why would the game tell me I've done the side quests if I'm not? I'm like, no.
It's rigged.
Just in case.
It's a rigged
It's rigged.
feature.
It's rigged, yeah.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
did you have a conversation with a website, Matt? Is that what you're trying to tell me here? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
That's what I do when I'm checking my tabs and trophy hunting. I'm reading the person's comments. I'm talking back to them.
The squirrel's gone rabbit. The squirrel's gone rabbit. It's over.
So I read it, and he's like, just in case, double check your inventory if it's not, completed that you've collected everything. So I went and I was like, okay. It says I have not collected all the plushies, even though the side quest said you just need one. It's like, okay, let me get all the plushies just in case. I got all the plushies. What do you think happened? Pop the trophy. Even though the side quest didn't say to get all of them, even though the game itself said you've done this side quest, congratulations, Nagachaka, keep going. They were lying. It's not true. I did not complete the side quest.
There was an invisible side quest to get all the plushies.
Yes. And that's just the one I know about. There could be more side quests that have done that. I could have just done it naturally. Thank goodness. Because I still got the platinum.
Platinum trophies don't need to be this hard. They don't.
They do not.
Or complicated, really.
Come on. Man. Just my luck, friends. But anyways, please believe me, Caravan Sandwich is still a chill, cozy game. Like games like Death Stranding, still recommend it. Check it out. Ron, when did I lose you? When did I lose you on this one?
Hold on. You lost me when you started talking about the fast travel and the dimension doors and the van getting stuck on rocks and you not really having a choice but to go back to the garage, which means I would have to drive all the way back to wherever the hell I am. No.
It's a lot of driving.
I don't mind exploration games. That's cool. I don't mind finding my own way. I'm all right with that. But when you have all those frustrations that you're talking about in between there, and the story ain't popping, nah.
Dude,
no.
This just sounds like a more elevated version of Desert Bus on the Sega CD to me, which is a game where you just drive a bus in a straight line until you don't want to keep playing the game anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No,
please believe me.
This is coming off the wish list. This is coming off the wish list for sure. No, thank you.
I must have done. I've done a disservice. I enjoyed it. But anyways,
has a question.
The only other game. Oh, question before I continue. Yes, question from the press pool. Yes, Fulia. Yes.
I would like to know, because unfortunately I was unable to attend the Backtrackers session. What was the overall sort of feedback about the game from everyone?
Everybody liked it, just like I did. Now, in terms of story, from what I gathered, I think most people liked it, but it does that typical thing at the end where it's like, let me really, really quickly wrap everything up. And because it does that, there's like there's an emotional piece at the end that doesn't hit the way it's supposed to. But Bowser in the chat says most of us knew the story. Actual factual. I didn't. They did. They paid attention. They were reading. I wasn't.
Oh my god.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to DM Bowser or Seth to find out if this is actually a story with this game.
Yes, that's probably a better way to do stuff than just the way I did. Because like I said, my platinum experience was very, very different. I think most people had...
Matt confirmed to be school brain.
Yep, confirmed.
Question for the press pool. Yes, Ron. Yes.
So what number platinum is this for you?
I have to double check. Like this year, or you mean like in total?
This year.
Both. This year and all together.
Okay. I think 3 this year. Would it be Astrobot, Until Dawn remake?
In this?
Caravan Sandwich, or was there another one? I feel bad.
I feel like you're missing one.
I feel like I'm missing one. Now I actually feel bad. To the Moon, there was no platinum. I stand corrected on that one.
Yeah.
What was the other? I'll have to double check. And then it might be 57 or 56.
Okay.
So
Minus,
I liked it.
Minus
right?
the what? The 20 that you have from the Mayo games and stuff like that.
Whoa, you can't
Don't minus them.
those.
PSN doesn't
are
minus them.
Those are
PSN doesn't
actual
minus them.
I ain't gonna count them.
That's right.
Subtract them.
That's right.
Those ain't real platinums.
Look, they exist on the PlayStation interface, Ron. They're real to me.
PlayStation says I have them.
Yeah, PlayStation says yes.
I'm not gonna count them.
PlayStation says I have them too.
Oh my gosh, I just came up with a topic for next week.
Oh, pin it.
Put a
Pin
in
it.
Can't wait.
Proud of you though, man. Proud of you. Platinum
Thank
king.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I wouldn't go that far.
That
That's a
crown's
bit much.
coming
That's a
your
bit
way.
much.
that's right. Your roll
I mean,
square.
you're in the
Marie.
lead this year.
Go.
Ron and I got the goose egg, and then Fulia may have come close this week, but we'll see. Probably not.
We're gonna
And
find out.
then the next game I started playing, which also happens to be for the Backtrackers again. We're going to meet up on March 16th for this. I got to pick it, so it worked out really well. It's Killer Frequency. It is on sale. Well, it's also on PS Extra too. So if you have that service, it's there, but it's on sale on Steam, on PlayStation. It might still be on sale on Switch. This is a Nagachaka game, like right from the get-go. It's a spoopy game that's campy, funny, and 80s vibe. And it's just like oozing with style. Basically, it's a first-person perspective game where you're playing as a radio host from the 80s, and you are helping people survive because there's a serial killer out in the town. And it's choice-based and also light puzzle solving as you're talking to the people that are panicking as they're calling for your help. So they kind of give you a scenario, and you kind of have to try to pick the best decision of where they should hide, which weapon they should use. Some of them are trying to navigate the streets. You have to refer to a map. It is hysterical. Like if you like being a what's the word? Like a smart aleck, like in Fallout or like in Skyrim, you'll love Killer Frequency because it is so tempting. It is so comical to pick the smart aleck choices in Killer Frequency than being sincere and actually trying to help people. Like there was one time I actually let somebody die. I think he was like a journalist. And there's obviously this choice dialogue I can say to my editor. So I said, well, I guess he's out of print now. And she's like, Jesus, Forrest, that's a bit much, but I couldn't help myself. And it's just stuff like that. Like I think, see, Ron knows what's up.
Mad
Like,
respect
so
to
That's quality. That's
funny.
quality cheese right there. That's quality cheese.
Oh, it's so good. I think I posted this clip in the Discord where I think a lady was calling for help. And I think the character was asking, describe where you are. And she's like, I can't. I'm too scared. And the response I picked was like, stop acting like a child. And then she hung up on me because she panicked. I was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have said that because now I can't help her. But listen, like if you love camp, if you love really witty dialogue, if you love 80s vibe, like Stranger Things, like this is definitely up your alley. Again, I highly recommend. I'm not done yet. I highly recommend it, but like I said, it's on PS Extra. But listen, I like it so much. I've not just bought it once. I've not just bought it twice. Bought it 3 times. That's right. That's right. Going ham,
Why?
friends. It's not 2024.
I will
It's not
admit, you're
2024.
selling me on this one. You didn't sell me on Caravan
I was going to say,
Sandwich, but you're
even
selling me
I'm
on
like
this.
interested in this one. What you're telling me. I
Oh,
have
Brian, like
PlayStation Extra.
it is so. It's really not spoopy. Like I'll back. Like some parts are a little bit, but the vast majority of the gameplay is just talking to people and solving the problems. But it's just so funny the situations that they're in. Like which one should I use to hit him with? And it's like, well, I'm tempted to say the real object to help you survive. But I'm a little tempted to pick the foolish choice. See what would happen. You might die, but I'm just curious to see what would happen. Like it's just so funny. I did buy 3 times because I picked it up on Switch a while ago, and then we picked it for Backtrackers, and because I enjoyed the game so much, I was like, just let me take a quick peek. Just let me take a quick peek at that trophy list. Just let me see. I got a little PTSD, a little bit, but I went all in. So I picked it up on PSN because it's on sale. But the trophy list does say, make sure everybody survives, make sure everybody dies, and make sure everybody survives and do a speed run. So it's not too bad when people say, but obviously, friends of the show, if you've been following along.
Playthroughs, though.
It's reminded me of Until Dawn Remake, where I looked at that trophy list, like Ron said. Multiple playthroughs, should be easy, make sure everybody survives, make sure everybody dies. If you were following along,
How
I got
long is the
very...
game? How long is the game? It might not be too bad.
The game itself is like 5-6 hours. So
Okay.
people
That's
are...
not
Yeah, the
bad.
trophy... Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the trophy guides, if you do 2 runs, and you do the first one right, where everyone survives and you speedrun it, and you just do the second one where everybody dies, then it's just 10 hours. If you mess up, then you might need a third one, so... That's why I bought PSN. Let me get that platinum, and then again, as I played this game so much, I was like, I really like this. I really should have been more patient and just have bought the physical instead. But now I did. So I got physical, got digital, got on Switch. I love it. Like I said, this is Nagachaka all over. Like, it is so funny, so campy. The 80s, like the soundtrack, it slaps so hard. Every time the editor's like, put on a new track, I'm like, no. I'm putting on the track that slaps. I don't care. And it's like, do you want to introduce it? Yes, I'm going to introduce it again and again and again. Because I like that song.
You're not a
It's
very
just-
good.
yeah,
You're
it's-
not a very good radio host, then.
You may not last very long. Paullin.
No, he's not DJ Squirrel. He's not DJ Squirrel.
No. But just, it. You know what's interesting about this game is it is such a weird nostalgia trip in the sense that, like, it kind of made me realize just how we don't have this stuff anymore. Like, I don't listen to the radio as much as I only listen to the radio if it's just the news. But like, do you remember, like, I don't think people do this now where they call in to request songs. Like, I don't think that happens on radios anymore, do they?
I'm
It
sure.
might depend on the show.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I think there's a lot of local radio stations where people still do that.
Yeah,
It's
there
kind of
is.
neat. It's kind of neat. But just, I remember that being like a very popular thing, back in the 80s and 90s. Like, yeah, if I want to listen to a song, the only way I can get it is if I ever call into, my local radio station and request a song. And just like, little things like that, picking up the audio cassette tape, putting that in for playing these long ads, and, playing the vinyl and just, yeah, it's just a weird, not a weird, but just a very heartwarming nostalgia trip back to, simpler times back in the 80s is how I see it. But every old person says that. So, I don't know. Anyways,
This is how
I
you
do
sell a
recommend
game,
it.
man. This is how you sell a game.
I was gonna say, you
I
got
didn't tell
some
you-
people interested in this one.
Unlike
You
Caravan
didn't say a
Sandwich,
Caravan
that
Sandwich?
you claim you liked.
Please believe him, Ron.
Please. Booyah. Surely I've sold you on both games. You're going to check out both of them, right? Fulia.
For audio
Where'd you-
listeners, Fulia just turned her head to the side and ignored
No.
Ron.
Nobody was knocking on your door, Booyah.
Sorry, I was just
Nobody was knocking on your
looking
door.
behind me. No, I'm not sold on either of them.
Oh, well.
Well, then,
All
Fulia,
right.
please enlighten us as to the type of games you are all in on. What games have you played?
Okay, all right. The first one, Ryan, I'm just going to send a link to you in the private chat, is for a little demo called The Last Werewolf, made by an Australian indie developer that I met at PAX last year. And it's actually a really cool sort of like a walking sim narrative game where it's about self-discovery. And it's essentially just sort of, you're meeting people in this town where apparently there were sightings of, something's going on. There might be, some form of cryptid, could be a werewolf, we don't know. And it's got a really cool story to it. So you're sort of going there, you're doing a little bit of research, but then it's pretty much a game about self-discovery, because Lockie, who is the main protagonist that you play as, she turns into a werewolf. And so she's trying to find out, but the problem is she can't control when she turns. So there's a little wolf meter in the top right corner of the screen that shows how much, if she gets a bit too anxious or excited, it builds up in that meter. And if you end up if it gets too full, you turn into a werewolf and you don't know what happens until then the next day you wake up, you're like, oh no, I turned into a werewolf. You don't know whether you've, caused any kind of destruction or whatever. So this is sort of like a really interesting story. Yes, Ron?
Since you could turn into a werewolf, I'm assuming it means you can go ham and kill people.
No.
please.
There's
Click.
you don't control it at all. Like it
You
happens.
don't even see it from the
No, you
what
don't
you're
see
saying.
it happen.
Oh, that's it.
You see. There's a cutscene that you see the character turn into the werewolf, and then it goes black, and then it's the next day.
Yeah. So no missing bodies. No. Hey, has anybody seen Daniel today? Nothing like that going on. Oh,
I figured that comes after that.
okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a cool story. It's currently out in early access, so they're still adding to the story as they go, which is really cool. So I think they've got like 3 chapters so far. It's going to be a short game, from what they said, but it's really cool because when I was speaking to the developer, they said it was more a case of like sort of a self-discovery thing. You know, they've got sort of like a bipolar disorder, and it's sort of showing that sort of kind of situation in this game, and you know it looks really cool. The art styles in black and white, and yeah, I like the characters that you come across, and it's really cool. At the moment, it's not 100% fully polished. So there's still bits and pieces like cutscenes that they still need to like properly like finish off and stuff. But other than that, like I'm like really enjoying The Last Werewolf, and the demo is available for everybody to go check out. It's only on PC, so if you'd like to go check it out, it's on Steam. But yeah, no, The Last Werewolf is really good.
It's got that mousing and that clicking in it. You gotta go.
Yes.
on your
Point and
PC.
click.
Yeah. I also like too that they borrowed all the werewolf mechanics from the Sims 4 werewolf expansion, because that's kind of how the werewolf transformation works in that too. Where like you could change at any time. It's not triggered by the evening or anything like that. And you have like a werewolf meter that builds up when your sim gets like agitated and stuff like that, until you eventually just turn into a werewolf and you can't control your sim anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's basically the same thing, which I like.
Yeah. So I kind of like where this is going. I'm looking forward to when it comes out in its full release and checking it out for myself. Another demo, I should say, that I've been checking out. And Ryan, you're going to be very excited.
Interesting.
Or I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that was reverse real quick.
I'm intrigued.
It's for an RPG on PlayStation.
Okay.
And I came across this while I was sort of surfing through the clearance games of the store that I work for the company that I work for. And apparently the physical's currently on sale. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if there's a demo. And I found a demo for it. So I downloaded it. And it's for Deerfield Chronicle.
Let's go. That's actually a good game.
Oh,
That's actually a good game.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
Kevin Ainsworth and I both like that game. And him and I never really agree on games. So for that to happen, it must be a good game.
Okay. So I've started playing through the Deerfield Chronicle demo on PlayStation. I'm actually kind of enjoying it. It's tactical RPG, and it's kind of like, it's almost like it's Unicorn Overlord kind of got a little bit of inspiration from that, maybe.
Yeah, although
But
I would
it's
say
just a bit
Deerfield
different.
Chronicle is like much closer to like a real-time strategy game. Like it's almost like it almost feels like I'm playing like Warcraft 3 or Company Heroes or something like that.
Okay.
You're not building up massive armies, but you're controlling these hero characters as they do these real-time battles that then you can like slow down time and then use different abilities.
So I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So far with the characters and the story, it's actually really kind of cool. So I'm gonna continue playing through the demo until it gets to the end of it, and apparently the progress carries over, so that's pretty good.
It does.
So if I do choose to go out of my way to buy it, then
you can get that on a good sale.
can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the physical right now, I think it was like what did I see it? I think it was like $15 or $20 Australian.
Yeah, it goes for very cheap now because
Oh.
that game did not sell well, despite the fact that I actually think it's a pretty good game.
Yeah. So if I enjoy it a lot, I might actually grab it from work. So
Yeah, that was one of the Square Enix games that came out in like that year where they were trying to throw everything at the wall to see what stuck, because we had that.
Yeah.
We had Valkyrie Elysium, as for Spoken and a bunch of different Square Enix games that year that were just like random things kind of just thrown out there.
Yeah. So yeah, playing that. So that's another demo I've been playing. I have rolled credits on Last Time I Saw You. I am very happy that I have. It's a really good 2D adventure game. Good story overall as well. I am 3 trophies away from the platinum.
Yes.
The only thing is, the platinum requires you to play through a particular mini game in this game, and the mini game kicks my butt so much. It is difficult.
Wow.
Interesting.
What kind of minigame?
It's kind of, you're a little ninja, and it's got like this little tiny little story to it, but it just shows it in pictures. But it's essentially like you were playing Mario Bros, but you're a ninja and you're trying to beat all the enemies that come through. And each level will have a number of ninjas, and then you'll have, once you beat all those ninjas, there'll be a dragon that flies in, and you have to beat the dragon. So it's kind of like a little boss. Beat the dragon, move on to the next level. I don't know how many levels there are. I think they're like maybe 3 or 5. But every time I get to the second level, either the ninjas kill me, because you only get, I think it's like a 4 life buffer, but you can pick up extra lives whenever little chests pop up. So you've got those lives, but once you get to once you're dead, you're dead, and you have to start all over again from the beginning. I'll get to the second level. The furthest I've gotten is getting to the second level's dragon boss battle, and each dragon has its own little thing. This second dragon sort of breathes out fireballs, and they are targeted. They will come at you. And I always end up getting to that dragon with maybe 1 or 2 lives left.
I'm assuming once you finish the level, you don't get your lives back for that next level to start, or
no, you just keep going until
the whole
you
way
gain,
through. Okay.
Yeah, the whole way through. Whatever lives you have, that's what you get. It'll spawn some lives in chests. Sometimes the chests will give you coins. Sometimes the chests will give you like a special weapon that just sort of sprays like shurikens out to all the enemies to kill them all like in a short burst. But other than that, that's it. It's just whatever lives you have, you just keep going with until you get to the end. And it's kicking my butt. So the overall game, the main story of the game itself is like a 1 out of 10 easy. This mini game is a 5.
Okay.
It's rough.
All right.
That's quite the
And I need to finish this mini game in order to pop the platinum.
I will tell you, Fool, if it was me in your case,
it.
I would just be like, no, I'm good.
No, don't give up, Julia. You're so close.
Though. Yeah.
You only got 3 more trophies. Don't give up.
The other thing is, I posted about it on Blue Sky, and the developers responded saying, just keep an eye out for those chests, and you'll be able to get more lives, and you'll be able to get through. You've got this. Like, they gave me like some
that's what I'm talking about.
to push me.
That's great.
That's definitely that's even more inspiration to give up. That's what I think.
What?
If it was me, I'd just be like, yeah.
Oh god.
That's a sign. That's a sign right there.
Oh man. So like, that's what I've been working on this past week, trying to get that platinum for this game.
It sounds like the fishing mini game from Spiritfarer all over again.
No, that's RNG based. This is skill based.
Right.
Please,
that's
got
right.
Yeah, exactly.
That she refuses to go back for that 1 trophy.
Shut up! I will get there.
Sure, along with Dragon Age and all the other I will
Dragon
get
Age
there.
I'll be getting to. It's gonna happen. Moving on to the other games I've been playing. I don't know if you'll all be happy to know. I know that Ron is definitely happy to know.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing an FPS game by the name of Titanfall 2.
That's right. You heard Mitch screaming
that?
all the way from Arizona. Yeah,
probably
one of the goats. Go. Talk about it.
Yeah. I gave myself a bit of a... I had this little bit of a gaming goal that I wanted to try an FPS game this year that wasn't live service. And everybody's been talking about how great Titanfall 2 is and the fact that it goes on sale a lot as well. And at the time, it was on sale and I managed to pick it up for free because I had gained some credits through the reward system on Xbox. So I had a $5 little credit in my account and I used it towards it to get the game, and the game costed me I think it was $3. And
I was gonna say it was a game regularly found in the video game little bins in our dollar stores here in Canada.
Yeah.
At the $1.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I ended up getting Titanfall 2. I think it was the deluxe edition or whatever it is. And I've played through the first, I think I'm going to say about the first 3 to 4-ish hours of the game. It is really intense. I'm not used to controlling and moving, shooting and moving and getting... I prefer to be a long range kind of person that shoots long range rather than getting... in the middle of it, close combat sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe Fulia's thing might be Sniper Elite 2 or something like that, a sniper game where you just play super long range.
Something tells me as soon as the slow-mo hits and the first time she sees some brain splatter, it's over.
I'm just saying something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that game, okay?
I mean, those games are fun as hell, but I can see Koala now. Nope.
I will say, whenever I have played Fortnite with friends, I do look for the sniper guns more so than anything else. So maybe I am that type of gamer when it comes to FPS. I don't know.
Maybe you should give Sniper Elite a chance. Make sure you stream it.
I don't know.
You don't want to get kicked off YouTube, Ron. Okay?
Look, here's the thing. Because I was streaming Titanfall 2. And let's just say, yeah, I was cursing like a sailor because there were a lot of times where things were jumping out at me, things were shooting at me from all directions, and there were times where I'm just the objective of the area was to survive, and I'm like, survive? What do you mean?
Yeah, that was great
I
to watch.
Move on.
I enjoyed it. Fabulous stream. I enjoyed it.
But it was it's actually fun. I'm enjoying it. And I'm glad that it's a short campaign, to be fair.
Well, just so you know, most shooter campaigns aren't super long. In fact, it's usually if a shooter campaign is longer than 10 hours, people are just is it over yet? Can we stop playing now? This is way too long.
Yeah, so I feel I don't know, am I halfway? I feel like I'm halfway. No? Okay.
You still got a little bit to go.
I don't know. It feels like I'm halfway, but apparently I am not, so it's fine. Whatever. But the Titans themselves are actually kind of cool. The mechs that you have to use, they're really cool. The one that you're controlling is kind of sassy, and I find it quite amusing.
BT is great. He's great.
Yeah. So yeah, been playing Titanfall 2. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention here is because I've been playing it on the Carpool Gaming Twitch channel, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered.
Mm-hmm. The game that everyone voted for, by the way. People voted for that.
This was a community-voted game. I said I would play it on stream for you all, and I have started it. And I have already got a hot take, and this is better than God of War.
Let's go. I knew it.
You're not going to find too many people who are going to disagree with that, though.
I mean,
Horizon, that first one is outstanding.
Really?
You're spitting facts over here, Fulia.
Wow. That's a hot take for me.
You have to understand, the main reason why you might have thought it was a hot take, because people just don't talk about this game as much, is because this game came out a week and a half before Breath of the Wild did, and this game got overshadowed by Breath of the Wild when it came out. People.
That's the story. That's the story of the series.
Very quick, yes, because the same thing happened with the second one.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah, so it's just that's the main reason why you kind of see a little bit of a deflation with the audience. Is just they're like people moved on from it pretty quickly because Breath of the Wild was
Okay.
right there and still everyone's
Yeah.
attention.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I am very much enjoying Aloy's journey. I'm liking the battle mechanics of this. I'm still trying to sneak around the robots so that I don't get pummeled by them.
Yeah, that's a wise move.
It's a good way to do it. Yep.
For now.
For now. But then I found out that I had to get through this, I don't know, this ceremony thing. I've already forgotten what it is.
Proving?
What it's the proving, yes.
Yeah.
But
I
then
was gonna say I just played it like 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, and then all of a sudden there's like enemies trying to kill all these people through the during the proving, and I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? It's like these, and yeah. So that's been interesting. So
So proud of you.
it's
So
a
proud
good
of you.
game. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
How'd you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna be continuing on my playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn on the Carpool Gaming Twitch channel every Friday. So if you want to come and join and see me play, it is I start up at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, which is unfortunately 4:30 a.m. Eastern. But I'm doing my best to stream for as long as possible so that by the time everybody wakes up. They'll still get the chance to come in and see me.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great
So that's
job. You're playing
yeah.
2 GOAT games. 2 GOATs. Titanfall 2 and
yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
two big games. This is
Very
not
proud.
something you would have seen on the Koala bingo card for gaming this year.
Yes, look at
It had
that,
to
look
happen
at that.
eventually, folks.
Yeah.
Finally won her over.
PlayStation Nation being around has just blossomed you out.
I'm
Excellent.
growing as a gamer.
Yes, it's beautiful to see.
All right.
Ryan, what have you been playing?
Oh, thank you for asking. I rolled credits on games this week, y'all. I don't know if you knew this. I played Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This was a game that I played last year when it first came out, and I just wasn't really into it. I just wasn't really in the mood for that type of game, or I don't know. It just whatever it was, it didn't connect with me the first time I played it. But this was on my list of games that I want to give a second chance to this year because everyone talked about how good Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was last year, and this time around, I immediately got sucked into it very, very quickly, and I actually really liked this game a lot. I thought that the Metroidvania mechanics are really well done. It's got some cool bosses. The visual design is incredible. Like it looks like you're playing some kind of crazy comic book anime kind of thing, which of course I love. I thought it was a very, very solid game overall. Really, really enjoyed it, and it didn't overstay its welcome either. I even played through the DLC because there was DLC that was released for it with some even tougher levels, which of course if people have played that game before, they know how some of the traversal challenges can be in the main game, but the DLC ramps it up even more to the point where I felt like I was playing Celeste, but on hard mode through some of those.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was a miracle that I got through the DLC, but I really, really enjoyed it. So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, fantastic game. Yes, the Platinum Trophy is a 1 out of 10 difficulty. I didn't get the Platinum Trophy. I didn't bother going for it, but I really enjoyed it. So that's the main thing. On the other side of the flip side of the coin here, I also started playing Star Wars Outlaws this week because this is another game that when I played it last year when it first came out, it just wasn't really resonating with me for whatever reason. So okay, so enough time has passed. Also, there's been a ton of updates to the game to fix many of the problems with the game, and I enjoyed it more this time. But I still wasn't really into it. The story wasn't really clicking with me. And to be fair, with Star Wars stuff, there isn't a lot of Star Wars stories that really stick with me in like the extended universe kind of situations, or just stuff that isn't the movies or some of the books, unless it revolves Jedis, because I'm a sucker for Jedis. So, especially because I'm not really a huge fan of like heist films and stuff anyway. So, this wasn't really for me. But at the same time, I did really enjoy the gameplay a lot more. For example, like I liked the fact that, the stealth missions didn't instantly cause you to have to start the game over again or start the mission over again from scratch. You could just fight your way out of it this time, which I thought was like a really great improvement they made to the game. And all the visuals and stuff are really cleaned up as well. So I do think for people who do like heist movies or like, Star Wars extended universe stuff, then I think you're probably going to really dig this game. It just wasn't for me, but I'm glad I give it another chance. Because again, I had more fun with it this time around than before. Otherwise, I played a couple of Nintendo games this week because I couldn't play PlayStation games for 2 days. So I played Super Mario Brothers 3 and Metroid Zero Mission in one night. Just the whole game for both of those.
Oh, wow.
Just because. So, and when I say Super Mario Brothers 3, I don't mean with warp whistles. I mean playing every single level, no warp whistles.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I basically went to the video game equivalent of going to the drive-in, which was playing 2 full games, back to back. Like you would if you went to the drive-in to go see 2 movies back to back. But yes, with the PSN outage this week, I didn't really have a chance to play a lot of PlayStation stuff because of that, which we'll talk about in a second when we get to questions. Because I also got a code for a game. Because yes, I can't go buy games this week, but I can't for the first 6 months. But I can receive codes, and I did receive a code for a game called Civilization 7 that I will be playing.
Oh,
but I haven't had a chance to play it
Okay.
today. After the PlayStation services came back up last night, so I'm excited to play it this week. So, Fulia, yes, go ahead.
Yes, question from the press pool. I'm curious to know what Civ 7 entails.
So it involves building up your civilization, conquering the planet using either culture or war or trying to go to space first, and it's a lot of fun. You can play it with friends. You can play it by yourself, and yeah, it's a really cool like turn-based strategy game. It's like hex-based. So you've got like hexagon-shaped tiles that you're trying to take over.
Would you say that it's not necessarily the same, but has similarities to like an Age of Empires?
Yeah, but I would say it's actually probably even a more chill version of something like Age of Empires. Because Age of Empires is a real-time strategy game. So you're like gathering minerals and you're building troops and doing combat all in real time. Whereas in this game, it's all turn-based. So you can kind of like take your time with it. It's Civilization is very much like a chill game, like a very good podcast game. You sit down and just play it. And games of Civilization can go on for a long time. Like usually you can play you're playing like a full 10-hour game of Civilization. Like it's a pretty long game. Kiku chimes in and says, we all know Ryan's going to be evil as possible and invade and destroy everyone around him. That's actually usually not how I play Civilization, Kiku. I like to control the world through the power of culture by investing in music and art and whatnot to like take over the world through the power of entertainment. That's like how I like to play
I don't know.
that game.
This is sort of selling me a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty
this
fun
will
game.
sell you, but nothing else. Like, mass killer frequency didn't sell you.
I like the idea
Right?
of building up a civilization and doing, just chill stuff.
Play
Believe it or not,
Crusader
Fulia,
Kings. Play Crusader Kings. Play that instead. Crusader Kings is great.
I believe, Fulia, that Civilization might be a game you actually really like. But
Okay.
I will say the older games, the problem with them are they're very mechanic heavy, so they have a ton of like micromanaging you have to do. But they've ironed that out in this one to make it more user friendly. So again, I'll talk about it more next week after I have had a chance to play Civ 7 because it's sitting on my PlayStation, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So I'm excited to get into it, and so you'll have to hear me talk about it next week. And especially because like I told Garrett this on RPG Cave when we talked about Civ a little bit, but like that game is like is so addictive to me. Like if I start playing Civilization, like I have a very, very hard time putting it down. And I just won't play anything else or do much of anything else but play Civilization. Like that's how hooked I get on Civilization games. So I'm a little worried for myself getting into this, but I'm excited to try out the new version and go from there.
Cool.
But enough about all that. We should probably, of course, consult with the PlayStation Drive community by reading off some questions, answering some of these questions. So first of all, I'm going to read off these first 2 questions because they kind of blend together. First one comes to us from Final Fantasy VIII is Life, Final Fantasy VIII is Love, who asked the question, it is I, everyone's favorite person on the internet. During the PlayStation Network outage, what did everyone do? Was grass touched? And then Quaggy also asks, it is I, the Quaggy, king of the Xenobabes. how crappy did Sony handle the outage of the PlayStation Network, and why is the correct answer not appropriate to read on a family-friendly carpool gaming podcast? So, yes, we had almost 48 hours where there was no PlayStation Network, which for me may have been an even worse punishment for some other people, because I, of course, told you all before, I got a PlayStation 5 Pro. However, I was a big dum-dum and forgot to go in and set it as my primary console. So when the outage happened, I couldn't play any games at all. Like, I would just boot up anything and it would just be like, nope, you don't have the license for this game. Please go to your connect to the PlayStation Network to check your license. So I just couldn't play PlayStation for 2 days. So yes, Final Fantasy's Live, I played Nintendo Switch instead because I was just like, well, I want to play something and I can't play PlayStation games, so I guess I'll play that. So, what did y'all do during the outage, Ron? Or did the outage affect you at all? Did you play games?
I played Baldur's Gate. I had no issue. I mean, good thing it wasn't our Helldivers day. I probably would have been upset, if that was the case. But Baldur's Gate, most of the day, no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, actually, like between Helldivers' event and then also. We had the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta this weekend too. Like a lot of people couldn't get in and play that because the network was down. I had a chance to play that on Friday, by the way. I had fun with it. But Matt or Fulia, how about y'all? What'd you do during the outage? Did it affect you at all?
Didn't play my Portal.
That
was frustrating.
No streaming.
Did not play my Portal. How can it be a Portal puppy?
Sad Portal puppy.
Matt, please let everybody know that you could have just gone to your PlayStation, but you didn't want to.
You could have. I want my Portal. I want my Portal. So I got it.
He wanted to play in bed, but he couldn't. Ron, okay?
That's right. Wanted to play. Not the places at home. Not on the PS5. Mm-mm. We don't do that here. Nope.
Oh boy. Well, I didn't notice anything because it was around the time where I was either busy doing something else or I was sleeping. So it kind of fixed itself by the time I woke up.
All right. That's how time travel works, everybody.
Yeah. Be in the future. You'll sleep through it.
Yep.
That's exactly
I guess
what
I was
happened
the
with
only
me.
one, friends, that actually had to deal with not being able to play games for 2 days. But I fixed it now. Literally the first thing I did when it came back, it was like, I'm immedially going in and registering my Pro as my Pro.
Yes.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Please.
So that never happens again because that is so annoying. So folks at home, if you haven't done that yet, by the way, this should be a good reminder to go into your system settings and set your console to your primary console.
Yep.
Yeah. Next up, we got the captain who asks, I'm being greedy and I have 2 questions this week. Have recently played a couple of games that were first person where you can use a sword and shield. I didn't get on with this at all and will probably avoid these games in the future, including Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I was going to play, but unless it is you and you're primarily using guns, first person doesn't really do it for me with swords and shields. What are things that if you find out about a game will automatically be a big no-no for you and will be a multi-pass? So for me, games that are primarily focused around puzzles, that's a big no-no for me. I don't.
You don't like doing puzzles in games?
I like puzzles in games, but I don't want to play games that are like The Witness, as an example, or the Talos Principle, where they're like really, really heavy puzzles and lots of them. Like that's because I like some puzzle games, like Tetris and Medios and Lumines and stuff like that. But like puzzle games, like in that way, I just big no for me. No, thank you. No es bueno, as one might say. That's the big one that sticks out for me. What about y'all? Starting with Fulia, what's a big no in a game?
If it's got horror elements in it, or if it's a horror of any kind, I'm out.
Wow.
No horror for me.
This comes from a murderer in Titanfall 2. Wow.
Well, I guess
shooting in an army kind of situation, in a war type of situation, is different than being slaughtered by zombies and monsters. Okay.
But what if you combine those two together by having like zombies and monsters, but also war stuff?
No, you shoot the zombies. That's how
like
it
Call of
works.
Duty zombies.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to play COD. No.
Oh, jeez.
God.
You say that. We're almost there. We're almost
in the
there.
chat here.
We're almost there.
Oh,
No.
Lord.
No code for the
We'll make our way
caller.
there.
What about you, Matt?
Sorry, Mitch.
What's your big no-no in games, Matt?
For me, it's Souls games. You're telling me that I can play for 40 minutes and I lose all the progress? I lose everything?
That's another one. Yep,
That
that's
is
another one.
beyond punishing. 40 minutes, I lose everything? That's my whole play session. And
But
I didn't progress?
you two had so much fun
No.
playing Elden Ring together.
It was comical, but when I play legitimately like the way I do right now, no. I can't do a game like that where it's like I play for 15, 20, 30 minutes, you die, you go all the way back, lose all your loot. Whew, that is beyond punishing.
But you can go back and
not
get
strong
it,
for that.
though. You can go back and get it, Matt.
I might die on the way, and that's even more. That leaves even more time, and it's just more of a slap in the face. Can I get my loot back? Can I? It's stressful. It's stressful for me. I can't. I won't, and I can't.
Fair? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you, Ron?
He brought up the Kingdom Come Deliverance, and that right there pretty much has elements in it that will run me away from any game. Everything else about the game looks great to me. The story, the way it looks. But when you start getting into the whole survival mechanics, that Simish 2 simulation kind of stuff, got to eat at a certain time. Make sure your energy is right. So your equipment. Make sure you have your stuff padded. That's too much. That's too much. If you want to make it accessible and turn that crap off, that's cool with me. But nah, that's the reason why RDR2 didn't do it for me.
Yep.
I love Red Dead until they started doing all that stuff. I'm not here for that. I don't got time for real life.
Now you know how I felt playing Monster Hunter Wilds on Friday, Ron, where I was in the middle of a battle with a big turtle thing. And it's like, make sure to sharpen your sword mid-battle to keep it sharp. And I'm just like, what am I
Mid-battle.
Yeah,
Sharpening
Monster
my
Hunter's
sword
an exception to me.
with a
I don't mind that at
Hold
all.
on a second.
Because I'm a Monster head. That's biased. I'm biased on that. Monster Hunter's great. So I can
I was
let
going
that
to say,
slide.
like, there's always exceptions. Like, there are games that are puzzle-heavy that I will play. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, you're not like these are like signposts. It's like, oh, maybe this won't be for me. But I don't know. I like to be open-minded, just like
Kingdom Come has sold very well, though. They could have sold 10 million more if they had sit there and took out some of that stuff.
Could have been. But Captain's follow-up question, if we'll allow it, is when you're playing a role-playing game, do you go down the more evil or good route if you're given the choice? So everyone knows, if you've listened to me talk on podcasts for a long time, what I do here. I make all the evil choices. Because the way I look at it is, you're always playing the good guy in every other game. So why wouldn't I want to make the evil choices? Because that's unique. It's different. I like the idea of being the bad guy. I think that's fun. If I'm just like, yes, woman who's lost everything, who is like saying like, please, please, please don't rob me, and that I use my force powers to rob her. Like, yes, please. I like all that stuff. Please, I will push the button every single time to nuke Megaton because I am that person. That's just who I am. So. What about y'all? What about y'all? Fuya, I'm imagining you only mostly make the good choices, right?
Yeah, I generally go the good routes, and even like when it is the good route, I tend to go the more sort of like the humble, the helping kind of the really good kind of saint like in terms of good decisions.
Well,
but there might be times, depending on the situation or the conversation, I might throw in a little bit of,
Be swayed.
cheekiness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt?
I used to always go with the good choices, just because I was always concerned, like if I picked the evil ones, I would be shutting off opportunities. But now, it really depends. It's just whatever I think is the most appropriate, or whatever I think is funny, I'll just go for it. So I wouldn't say this is inherently good, I'm gonna go this way, or it's inherently evil. It truly would be case by case, situation, dialogue by dialogue, and just what are covered. So just taking more risks, being more open minded when I play these games now. Try my best.
look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Ron, how about you? Did you murder everyone in Baldur's Gate? Is that what I'm sensing here?
Oh,
No, I'm pretty much just like I am. Very gray area. I'm nice, but if you sit there and do something traitorous to my team or betrayal, I will push you through a window. I will sit there and put a bullet in you, or whatever else the game will let me do. So, yeah,
You punched the reporter in the face in Mass Effect, didn't you?
I did.
Yes,
I
you
did.
did.
Yeah.
Of course.
I surely did.
That was the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. All right. Moving on. We got King Riley Smiley who says, question for y'all. With the Super Bowl happening today, got me thinking about football video games. With Madden being a bit of a dud for the last number of years, do you think EA will ever bring back NFL Street? I would say no, because they just brought back college football and they have Madden. They're not going to bring in a third football franchise, I don't think. But that's just how I feel about it. What do you
College football killed it too, so yeah, there's just not room right now.
Yeah. I think there's room for NBA Street, but not NFL Street probably.
Yeah, and that makes sense because they don't have a basketball franchise right now. So yeah, NBA Street sounds right. I want to say I think there was rumor that they were supposed to be working on that, but NFL Street, I can't see it.
Yeah.
The last football game I played was N64. What's it called? Like Blitz or something?
NFL Blitz. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That one where you get supercharged and you get like turbo speed at people.
Yeah,
You know
it
what
was
I'm talking about?
basically
That was a good arcade football game. Yeah.
yeah, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
NBA Jam
Yeah.
but with football. That's essentially what that was.
Yes.
The
Yes.
equivalent. Yeah.
That was the last one I played. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. That's
Did you ever
the
play
last one I
NHL
played.
Hits, Matt?
No, what was that? Was that an N64 too, or
That was on
SNES?
GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. But
No.
that was basically the same kind of thing, but with hockey.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. No,
Yeah.
the last
They did this for a couple.
Last
of
ones I
years. They really good
played.
ones. Yeah.
damn. No, my last ones are like NHL 94, 95. That's about it. I didn't know there was one like that. That sounds pretty good.
Okay. All right. Next question comes to us from Kiku, who says, have you ever gotten any non-gamers into the hobby? I was surprisingly the one that got both my brothers into video games, though my older brother ended up becoming an Xbox gamer later on. Little brother and I still enjoy a lot of the same games, but he also plays a lot of things that I won't touch. So that's the thing, Kiku. For me, I don't really have a lot of friends that don't play games in some capacity. And even then, like anyone who I've met that doesn't play games, I don't really try and convert them to be a video game person. I'm assuming that they've played video games and they know that's not for them. So for me, I don't know. I just, maybe it's just the people that I've run into or have been friends with. But again, I don't think I've ever had a friend of some kind that hasn't at least played video games at least once in their life, or has been like a gamer at least once point in their life. Even if they fall off the hobby, I'm not going to try and drag them back into it. But that's just me. How about you guys?
I've never gotten anybody into video games, but there's people that I was surprised at like how much they got into stuff. Like I had a coworker, and I remember at that time he's like, "Oh, I'm thinking of getting a PS4," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "You play video games?" I was like, "Yeah, I play PS4, like Resident Evil games." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of getting it," and I was like, "Okay." I wasn't sure how far it would go. I was like, maybe he's just gonna be a casual gamer, just play here and there. He's all in. Like he's all in now. He's up in Reddit. He's playing Helldivers 2 right now. Like I was very surprised, and like I said, I didn't get him into it, but I was very surprised because I wouldn't have pegged him as a gamer. And right now he's pretty hardcore. And even like my wife, like there's only one game she plays, which is Animal Crossing. I didn't have anything to do with it, but again, I was just surprised. Like I was like, oh, you play a lot of Animal Crossing. You won't touch anything else.
But
this
that still
game will
counts.
consume you. But of course it does. Of course it does. But it's just surprising. Like she's definitely a non-gamer, but that's the one. But I've never had the urge to convince anybody, nor have I been successful. Like it feels like somebody they kind of have to try it on their own and find their own reason for why they want to play and which game genre like connects with them.
Yeah.
That's what I
and
think.
likewise, given Kiku's example here of her family, it's like, well, my family growing up, we all had video game consoles, and the people that were really into games stuck with it, and the people that played video games when they were a kid and they grew out of them, and like that's just the way it kind of was. Like there wasn't like I'm not convincing my cousin Dylan, who doesn't play video games now but did when he was a kid, to be like, hey Dylan, you should go play games, because like I just know he's moved on and isn't really into games anymore. He's got a family and stuff like that now. So yeah, like that's just how I feel about it. But yeah.
I didn't get my sister into gaming, and I don't think she was really much of a gamer growing up either, even though we had consoles in the house. I think she'd seen me with my PS1 and then eventually got around to PS2. She may have been influenced by like friends at school and stuff for the PS2 because she wanted the PS2. And at the time, she was into like the racing style games. The other game that she played that I was surprised about was Infamous, I think, on PS3.
Okay, interesting.
I was surprised that she was into that. But then she went from a period of time of not playing games at all, the recently in the last like few years, I found out that she had bought a Switch and I had no idea. And she was playing the Agatha Christie games that I play.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
And like the point and click ones. And I was so surprised when she told me that. I'm like, you've played that? They're actually really good. She's like, yeah, I've been sort of playing through those and I really enjoyed them. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Now I'm trying to get her to play some of the other Agatha Christie games and trying to get her to play some more point and click style games that I know like detective games that she might, might have an interest in. But I haven't been able to persuade her yet. But I did mention the new Murder on the Orient Express game. I'm like, that one's actually a really cool game. Looks a little bit different, but it's still same sort of gameplay. You're going around asking questions, point and click. She's like, oh yeah, I might check it out. And I'm like, ooh, please.
Interesting. Ron?
My work wife. I was able to talk her into getting a Switch into Animal Crossing. She got advice 2 Christmases back. She was getting a PlayStation for her son as a Christmas gift, and she was asking about games and stuff. And I guess I can't remember how we approached the conversation, but I asked her. I said, your son games a lot. I said, but you never talk about games at all. And she was just like, well, I just don't. The games that he plays, I can't see myself playing, because at the time he was playing stuff like Spider-Man, the action games and stuff. And I was like, well, there's other games besides those that you could probably get into. And so we started talking about Animal Crossing. And she was like, well, can I play that on PlayStation? I was like, unfortunately, you can't. I said, you'll have to get that on the Switch. But she ended up getting one for herself, and she plays Animal Crossing every single day. So, yeah.
Wow. This is coming from the bear who calls it a potato.
I never said I hate the Switch, though. I call it a potato because that's what it is.
Oh, so you secretly like it then.
People like potatoes.
Like it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it is a potato, but I never said I hate it.
Potatoes are great. Exactly.
God, I can't wait for the
Potatoes
Switch
are
2
good.
to actually win Ron over. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's not
Sweet
happening.
potatoes coming.
We can bet on that.
It's going to be great.
Go ahead, dream on.
We will.
Yeah, keep it alive.
Yeah. All right. Final question, or should I say questions of the week, comes to us from Black Wyver, who says, good day, all. Hope y'all are keeping well. My questions for the show is, number 1, looking back at the games you've played on PlayStation, what single character's death in a game has impacted you? Now, it's really hard to talk about this without talking about spoilers. We really have to talk about it with spoilers. So I'm just going to say blanket spoiler warning for this question. And we will have to, in fact, actually, let me get a banner. Talk about yourself
in general.
Well, we'll be sure to say what game we're about to talk about, just in case people want to
make sure to say the
I was gonna say
first before
you gotta preface it, all right? Because don't spoil it for us too on the panel, right? Like if I don't want Ron saying like God of War Ragnarok, and I'm like, whoa, stop. Yeah, I'll be like, stop, hold on, please. So just slow down with your answers, okay?
Yeah, I'll turn that sound down real quick. Like, no.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. So I now have the banner in effect. General spoilers are happening. I will also try and here. Let me mark down the time here. Let me make sure to write this in the description of this podcast so people know when to skip this. Okay, we're ready to spoil some games here. So I had some time to think about this one when I saw the question, so I'll go first. The one that affected me the most was a little old game on the Xbox 360. Or not the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, I should say, because I played on PlayStation 3, was The Darkness, where based off the comic book, the Top Cow comic book, but throughout the game, you play as Jackie Estacado, who's like a mobster who wants to leave the mob. because his uncle's basically trying to murder him on his 21st birthday. But he gains these powers called the Darkness that he can use to do some cool stuff. But basically about halfway through the game, after going on a nice little date with your girlfriend, you're cornered by your uncle, and as you're kind of locked behind glass, the power of the Darkness kind of takes over Jackie, and he's forced to be bound to just not move and basically watch his uncle murder his girlfriend right in front of him. And it's such a heartbreaking moment in that story that then spirals, Jackie on this whole the quest for revenge against his uncle. But I just thought the delivery with it and how well done it was really affected me in a meaningful way that I was not expecting a game like The Darkness to actually, do that with, especially because like I said, there's a sequence before then where you're sitting on the couch with her, watching To Kill a Mockingbird on the TV together, and you're like sitting there cuddling, and you can sit and cuddle with her throughout the entire movie of To Kill a Mockingbird with her if you'd like to do that. So you have this meaningful connection with her. So it just made that moment just so much more of a punch to the stomach when it actually happened. So The Darkness, that is my moment. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Mine's going to be about The Walking Dead Season 1. So for those who have not played it, this is your chance to stop listening just for a minute. Everybody who's played that game already knows where I'm going to go with that. Lee dying, I don't think I have ever cried that much over a game in my life. And it probably was even worse for me, the fact that me and my daughter had been playing that game together, and from beginning to end.
Dude.
And so she was here when that happened. We are both just bawling over this. That the whole scene up until that part was just, golly, man. It just goes to show the work that they put in. Telltale really sit there and just set up that whole scene just great. And the voice acting was fantastic. It was just the whole scene from beginning to end was just heartbreaking. And I mean, golly, like I said, no game has ever come that close to. I've cried in games before, but that right there destroyed me.
Especially because he had to make the choice in the end too.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Do you put him out of his misery or let him become a zombie, right?
So you're feeling bad for Clementine, you're feeling bad for Lee, because Lee's been that dude the whole game. And Clem has to decide at this point in time, like, what do I do? And you're asking a child to kill pretty much somebody who was her father figure in the game. So that's just a golly, man. There's grown people who are going to struggle with having to make a decision like that. A child, especially sweet Clem. Oh my God, that was hard. That was a hard thing to deal with.
I like too that you like kind of teach her throughout the whole game to kind of, and that those teachings basically just lead up to that moment so perfectly. Like even to the point where like
Perfectly.
you're kind of directing her to kind of get everything ready before finally telling her what's about to happen. So, yeah, it's so well done.
That was rough, man.
It was.
Matt, what do you got?
All right. All right. My answer is The Last of Us Part 2, but I refuse to go in depth to it because I know Ryan hasn't played it. So I will not
already know
go
what
into
happens
detail.
to said character.
Still, I there's more that I want to explain to it. And listen, eventually you might play the game. And so I'm not gonna go into full length of it, so I will not actually that's my answer, but I will not go into who in that game and why and all the journey of it. So I'm gonna pick a different answer. So if you have not experienced Nier Automata, this is your chance to hop out because I'm going full spoilers on this one. So in Nier Automata, when 2B dies, it doesn't hit me right away. It hits me much, much later when you have to play as 9S. And yes, a lot of people think he's whiny. It sucks to play as him, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind playing him in the third run when 2B is gone, because the first two runs, you're playing always with a partner. So when you have to play the third time and you're by yourself, you really feel it, and it just ties into that beautiful theme of the story about nihilism, where how would you live your life if you realized everything you've worked towards has no meaning? So 2B's death was like a catalyst for 9S when he started to realize the truth about everything about the so-called purpose of androids was all a lie, and you see him lose his sanity from it. And I thought that was phenomenal, just a beautiful way because while yes he's whiny, listen, if you're telling me in my real life like, everything that I've believed in, worked towards, like, had faith in, and you told me all of it was a lie and none of it has meaning, you don't think I'm going to lose my mind? You don't think I'm going to, and like, stop trying? So yes, 9S is whiny, but to me, that 2B's death was that catalyst for 9S just to lose it, and when you realize that everything he worked towards was for no purpose. So that one did hit me very, very hard. Not as much as the one that happened in The Last of Us Part 2, but this one still did hit me in a pretty significant way.
Interesting. All right, Fulia, you're up.
Okay. It's gonna be a character from Life is Strange: True Colors.
I know where you're going with this one.
Just wait for you to come back.
Yeah, hop out, Ron. Hop out. I'm good. I played this one.
Yeah. Ron, if you haven't played it yet, it happens pretty soon when you sort of start up the game anyway.
It came out of nowhere. So surprising.
Yeah. So
it was very surprising.
That death, which was Alex's brother, really hit me. And I was just like, it just came out of nowhere, And then I felt for Alex as well. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. This really sucks. And then just, going through that emotion, I'm just like, we need Gabe. And then throughout the rest of the game, it's, she's going back through all these memories with him, and it was really heartbreaking when that happened. And the way that it happened as well was just brutal. I was not expecting it at all.
It's rough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucked. And I was just like, oh, man. Why did it have to happen so soon? They just reunited as well, which made it even worse.
What a gut punch. It's true.
I know.
They're so cruel.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's that one for me.
Okay. Well, I'm taking off the spoiler tag. We are no longer in full spoilers. I'm now going to mark this down so people will know in the podcast description we have gotten past the spoilers. Okay, so continuing on, Black Wyver has a second question. Now, this one could be taken in a spoiler direction, but we're going to try and do this without spoilers, if we can. This question is, what game playable on PlayStation had the biggest emotional impact on you? The emotion, this cannot equal rage or anger. Cheers. So this one, for me, is an easy one. It's Shadow of the Colossus. It's one of my all-time favorite games. And every time I get to the end of that game, man, I am like a blubbering mess because like the first time I played that, I was so overwhelmed with emotions that I just had to just turn the game off and just walk away and go outside and, just clear my head because it had such a huge emotional impact on me. And again, I won't explain why or anything like that. And it wasn't even just the ending because like there's a lot of stuff that happens along the way throughout the course of the game that you don't think about at the time, but like when you get towards the end of the game, a lot of things are put into perspective for you that just brought me to just being an absolute mess. So for me, Shadow of the Colossus, like I still feel it every time I play through that game, and I've replayed that game many times. So that's my one for me. What about y'all? Starting with you, Ron.
Mine's still going to be the same as my last question. Everything that happened with that character.
Yeah.
That's there will never be anything.
No.
Walking Dead Season 1. There will never be anything I don't think that will destroy me like that game did.
Yeah. Yep. Matt.
Well, my first two answers, I'm not going to use them because it would be spoilers. So if you want to know which games they are, it is The Last of Us Part 2, and then my second choice would be New Replicant. But again, if I explain why, it would be
That's
very,
okay.
very heavy spoiler. So I'm gonna go with the third choice. It's not a spoiler. It's Night in the Woods. Very special dialogue that happens, and just again experiencing it with the backtrackers just really made connections to it. There's a scene where there's two characters talking, and one person is explaining kind of like their troubled childhood, but they end off in a positive way. And it's such a beautiful line where he says, "I believe in a universe that doesn't care, but I believe in people who do." And that, like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about how beautiful that line is and just how much it resonates with me. I'm sure it can resonate with other people that, there's often times where you feel like things are not working out the way you want it to, and that the world can be very cruel and unfair in many aspects. But while that may be true, there's people here that love you, right? And while the world might be unfair to you, there's people here that got your back. And just sharing that with the backtrackers was such a beautiful moment. And yeah, getting emotional just thinking about it. Just brought me so much joy that yes, the world might be unfair, but I believe in the people that are here for me, my friends, my family. They got my back. So even if the universe doesn't, I got people who do. So I think that's a worthy one to highlight. Just even though it's not my number one or number two. That's a beautiful moment. That's very emotional for me.
Good
Nice.
choice.
Fulia?
I'm gonna say last year's game of Never, and that definitely hit me in the feels quite a bit playing through that game. It's a beautiful, beautiful, emotional game, and it's just sort of getting emotional just thinking about it right now. It's just a good game, and it really does hit you in the heartstrings. So definitely Never. But another one that I would also like to mention, and now especially considering after I had watched this past week, I had watched Avicii I'm Tim, the documentary on Netflix. Avicii Invector. So he there's a game with his music in it. It's a rhythm-based game, but it's, it has all his music in there, and you're essentially flying a little jet, but there's dialogue that's happening. There's like a overarching kind of story about mental health, and that sort of hits you as well. So that one as well, I would say Avicii Invector is one. If you like EDM, if you like that style of music, then yeah, you'll definitely enjoy that game as well. But yeah, the underlying message of it all is very mental health based. So yeah.
Nice. All right, I lied. There was one final question for the week. This comes to us from the YouTube chat. It comes to us from one BLK Talon, who says, "What game has the longest time between you starting and finishing a game? I hope to get back to completing Demon's Souls on PS5 after 4.5 years from the first time I played it."
This is very shameful because for me, I haven't finished it yet, but the longest would be if I do finish it is Metal Gear Solid 5. I got it, after I did what's the collection called in PS3? Legacy?
The Legacy Collection? Yeah.
I did a Legacy Collection in PS3, loved it, did all of them. Metal Gear Solid 4, I was like, yes, let me roll into 5. Just something about it, like, where I just did not do well with the stealth. And I know people want to say, like, well, just go in there, start shooting everybody, go pew, pew, pew. Well, I disagree. Okay, it doesn't work, all right? It doesn't work in my opinion. Or I'm not doing pew, pew, pew correctly. Anyways, I dropped it, and then I haven't gone back since, and still in my backlog. I refused to listen, friends. I abandoned a lot of games where I'm like, no, I'm not going back to this. Forget it. Metal Gear Solid 5 is one that I refuse to abandon without at least one more solid try because of how much I enjoy the series. I know, David Hayter's not in. I know the conditions that, Kojima were under for playing it, and, technically it doesn't have a proper ending, but I still want to give it a try. People say it's the best one in terms of mechanics. So for me, that might be like, what, 4 years at minimum, depending on when I actually play and roll credits. At least 4 years.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, like, I don't really start a game and then go back to it later without just starting from the beginning. So I wouldn't really count it as like the same thing as this question's trying to ask, where it's like, trying to ask like, okay, well, like where do you pay how long do you go? How far is the longest you've gone? Like putting a game down and then going back to it kind of in the same spot. Because like, for example, what I do with Prince of Persia, like I don't consider that really counting for this type of question because yes, I put it down last year, but I just started fresh when I played it again this year. So that's just the way I play games. So for me, I just don't really know what that would even be, I think, at this point. But I'm curious to know what you guys think, Fulia and Ron.
So mine is for for a game I started up in 2022, and it was during the Backtrackers as well. This was a Backtrackers game. Bug Snacks. I still
Did you say Spirit Fair? Bug Snacks you didn't finish?
I thought you finished Bug Snacks.
She hasn't gone back.
Bug
to
finish that
Snacks
game.
is not done. The last
You've been eating real credits?
No, I have not. The last trophy I won from that game was back in May of 2022.
I can finish it. It's a good game.
I have.
It's good.
The only reason why I haven't finished it is because I want to do all of the other little side quests and stuff so that I can get the platinum for it, because there's a certain point in the story that if you move on to finish off the story, you can't go back. And I don't want to have to start all over again just so that I can go through and get these trophies and side quests and stuff done. So that is why it is still sitting. I haven't finished it yet because I want to do all the other bits and pieces first before rolling credits on it. So I haven't rolled credits on Bug Snacks.
Everybody who listens to this show knows what's going to happen. This is going to go right beside Dragon Age and Spirit Fair and Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes and all the
As
other
it should, Ron. As it should.
No, I'm going to go back to those games. I will.
Sure. Never worry, 31st.
I am going to prove you wrong.
Yes, Bug Snacks. Get that plat. You can do it. Bug Snacks, here we come.
Yeah.
We'll see.
How about
What about you,
Do
Ron?
have a question?
I'm like Ryan. I mean, I'm going to start from fresh. I can't even remember where I stopped at in Fallout New Vegas. I'm going to go back and just start fresh from that one. It just got to the point where when I was playing on PS3, Bethesda and PS3 games just did not match well.
Ron.
I barely made it through Fallout 3 before that thing just became a slideshow.
Yep.
New Vegas, if it wasn't crashing, the frames was it just got to the point where it was just bad and unplayable. And
They were just very poorly optimized for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Especially Skyrim in particular. We talked about that in RPG Cave this week, where like if the save file became too big, the game just stopped working.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I was enjoying the parts of New Vegas that was playing well. It just got to the point that the game was unplayable because it just kept crashing at a certain point, and I just said, you know what, I can't do this. But I got it on PC, I have it on Xbox, so I'm going to pick one of them, and I'm going to sit there and play through it at some point in time. So we could start from fresh.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I think you and I are both like very like much like all in gamers, where it's like we're either going to finish it or we're going to put it down. If we put it down, we're just starting over.
Yeah.
So,
I can't just pick it where I left off at.
Yeah. But anyways, that's going to do it for this supersized episode of the PlayStation Drive. But before we go, we got to say thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Jonathan Brown, the man behind our podcast, as well as our podcast, the Xbox Drive music. Oh my God, I'm just a blubbering mess at the end of the show. You can find his link tree over at linktr.ee/pme.jib. And he just released brand new deluxe version of his album Me, Myself, and I, with of course a track with a $2 hero on it, which of course we know that person, so make sure to go check it out. Jonathan is awesome. He's got cool music, so make sure to check out his link tree. Cwagmire, who humbly reminds you that the best babes are in fact Xenobabes, and TechMike, who says whether you're Kevesi or Agnian, you're a Xenobabe at heart. Links to all of our ultimate producers can always be found in the description of our
What's
podcast.
the problem, Matt? What's the problem? He said it right.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Our platinum producers include Smokin Joe, Solo, the Captain, and Tim Paullin. And our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, John 32, Liger Woods 330, OldMrFrump, Patrice Mallette, Peje, Riley King, Shane Erickson, Stephen Keller, TheDonRob, the Jiggy Collector, and Toxic. Huge thank you once again to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to hop in the car with us, head over there, choose the tier that's right for you. And now, Ron Plugs go.
Savoy Prime on all of the things. PSN, Xbox, Steam, Backlogged, PSN Profiles, True Trophies, and Blue Sky.
And Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me as Nagachaka in the Carpool Gaming Discord and over at Blue Sky.
And Fulia, where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at Foolish Fuji. You can also find me on Twitch and on YouTube at Foolish Fuji. And just anything else that you want to find out about me, head on over to foolishfuji.com or foolishfuji.card.co.
Card. And as for me, you can't find me anywhere. I'm on the Discord at Ryan Turford. I'm also on Backlogged. On backlog.com at Ryan Turford, where I'm posting all these little mini reviews. There's so many games I'm playing also. This is just what happens when I don't play Final Fantasy 14. I play a bunch of stuff. It's weird. Other than that, of course, you can always find us over at Carpool Gaming on all the socials. And till next time, friends, this has been the PlayStation Drive episode 185. I almost forgot how the show ended. So for Fulia, Matt, and Ron, I'm Ryan. This has been the PlayStation Drive wrap. Good night, everybody.
Adios. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of the PlayStation Drive. Now, before you drive off, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us at Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget to check out our awesome merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you'll unlock all kinds of exclusive content. Links to everything are in the description.